Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a passionate review video. I am Sylphin. We have version 37.1 dropped with the Carnival of Hearts, some Valentine's Day themed skins, kind of cute, but some balance changes that actually changes things up quite a bit. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We have Carnival of Hearts patch 37.1. So, of course, there are some cute Valentine's Day themed skins here for Howitzer. I love this version. The hard case Howitzer, I believe it's called, just basically redone in some colors. If you guys want these skins, what has to happen is you need to get in with a current Twitch streamer as of today and play with them, as they are the only ones that get the Seraph skins to start. Once you complete a match with them, then you get this skin, and I honestly don't know how to get the other skins, so go and read about it here in the announcement blog. There's Decker, very, very nice, very cute when she waves goodbye with that emote, and Sarath as well. There's a very cute emote. Go check out the video. It is quite cute. And Crunch, nice Crunch. So they got some hero adjustment guides. It changed up the math, and it changed up the Rangers. And oh boy, it's pretty interesting. The Space Cop has been too good at dealing out the justice, so they've dropped the damage on his ultimate, thank God, as well as his buckshot. Additionally, reduces attack speed growth per level, meaning math changes. Oh yeah! As for Grim, they gave him an upgrade, reducing his cooldowns, both his deflector shield, only in the early game and the mid game, but that should make him viable to, more easily be able to, get his CP, stay alive, etc. And his ultimate, again, just kind of in the early game especially, and the mid game. Use a deflector shield, all that stuff. The game-ending Aurora, Kairoseism, of course, you definitely want to do that. And with two new emotes, the gadget goes no, no, no to let your enemies know they never had a chance. And several hollow praise. Oh, they didn't have that in the patch video, so that's very interesting. Gonna see that there. So some changes here. General changes: fixed collision to high ledge by jungle entrance, meaning that you'll no longer be able to reach the ledge. I think, but yeah, not necessarily sure what that means. I think that's a high ledge trying to jump into the, I don't know, something like that. Finally fix that range bots trying to attack the jungle camps when out of range. Really nice to have that, just because when you're trying to test out a build, or like me playing with the wife there against AIs, just makes it a better experience, especially for beginners, which that's important. Making sure they have a good experience. That's what it's all about. So some changes here for Aurora that I really, really like. Recasting Glacial Charge, or attacking or attempting to attack with your basic attack no longer stops Aurora mid-dash. Thank freaking Lord, as that wasn't intuitive, right? Cast an ability, and you expect to go the whole way. Recasting Glacial Charge while dashing should now correctly bring the wall down, but you can still stop the dash and combo out of the dash with your other abilities, just as before. That is intuitive. Using your basic attack to get out isn't necessarily intuitive, and I like this much better. They fixed Hoarfrost occasionally causing damage twice in a row. Ooh, that's a pretty big bug. But Hoarfrost is now team colored. Thank God, because you're like, there's two Hoarfrosts on the ground. I have no idea what is what, and you're just like, ugh, So that's very nice to see that, because, yeah, you can now actually tell which Hoarfrost is yours and which one to, be careful of. Updated the effects for Frozen Simulacrum. Ooh. It looks very nice, so we're going to see that. Crunch, fix a bud where an empowered forward crunch could target enemies farther away from him than intended. Okay, I just did a video with him. Check that out, coming out soon. Boy, we were a complete beast. So I don't think I meant to see that. Maybe once or twice. Maybe I noticed that, and I was like, oh, I actually did reach them. But, hey. Okay, that makes sense. Now here is the changes here for Grim. This is Deflector Shield. Look here in this early game, a whole 6 seconds. You can use it again. This is very important. Of all the mana to spend on Grim, use it on that Deflector Shield, just because it gains mana back. Plus, it's obviously really important. kind of, mitigate anything. So that's really important. Use that in the kind of late, early game, early mid game. Again, 4 seconds down, 2 seconds, and then 10 seconds there in the late game. Just helps him scale into the late game much easier. 6 seconds. Yeah, that's good. And GTFO again here in the early game, only 10 seconds reduction, then finally to the end game. That's okay. Like maybe you can use it a bit more frequently. Kinda. I don't know. That just little things to help make him just a little bit more prevalent. So when people do try him out, they're like, oh, it's actually a little bit better than before. And then it kind of seeps into the meta. Big, nice little tweaks are nice when it's kind of this balancing act here. Now, Gruck's smash and grab kind of a little bit confusing. His smash and grab's maximum pull height, not the length, but the height, increased to 800 from 500, and minimum pull height to 800 from 500. So I think that means like how high off the ground, right? Height, you can pull. So maybe this is intended for somebody like Aurora, using her frozen simulacrum where she leaps into the air, and if she does that right as you're smashing, grabbing, you can actually pull her. Maybe that is what this is for. I mean, on one hand, smash and grab, it is like a ground assault, right? Like he pummels the ground, so if you're touching the ground, it makes sense that you should be pulled. But if you're not touching the ground, that kind of makes sense. But then again, it is kind of a spell, like it is kind of magical, right? Kind of. So I guess it doesn't really matter if you're touching the ground. I think this is just makes more sense in the game's mechanic sense. So I kind of like that. So that Aurora, the frozen simulacrum is really, really powerful for her, and I think this is probably that is the reason probably for this, and just some other things, howitzer ults just before you use your smash and grab, so as he's going up, you can kind of grab him down from a little bit more, or a Gideon ultimate, etc., etc. I like that. Now the big changes, baby. Murdock. Attack speed growth per level has been reduced to 1.2 from 2.8. So, that is a huge change. That was one of the bigger things that made Murdock so viable. He has a great basic attack. He has great scaling. And he gets a lot of attack speed. Like, win-win-win. There's no drawback. There's no drawback to him. Like, Sparrow, finally, her basic attack is just freaking awesome. The drawback, she has no escape in her kit. Right? Twin Blast. He has an okay damage, but that's because he attacks really fast, but he doesn't get attack speed. He doesn't gain attack speed per... So there's kind of like checks and balances, right? It all kind of evens out. Murdock, it just wasn't there. It just had a good damage. He scaled really well, and his attack speed got a lot of attack speed. So this, I think, makes more sense. Makes the balance that Murdock is a little bit of everything, a little bit more actually that. So I very much like that. We're going to look into the math right as we finish this. Buckshot Armor Shred to 5, 10, 15, 20 from 6, 12, 18, 24. I like that. Even on the math sense, casters only have 22, so it's kind of like wasting some, so, and again, just the small little tweaks, to bring him in line with other heroes. I think that's fair. Remember that this benefits the whole team, so I do like that. Long Armor Law, the dumbest ability in the game. Base damage has been reduced to 180, which is the same in the early game, but there in the late game, 300 from 320. Again, just a little bit, but the scaling is the biggest thing that affects it. 0.9 to 0.75. So just from that, one of his key abilities here, reducing that scaling, de-emphasizes the use of power. And with this, both of these changes to me, from the numbers side, makes me want to emphasize crit and attack speed more, just because if power is not going to be as effective on his Long Armor of the Law, then I'm going to want to have attack speed, especially since he doesn't get as much anymore, which means that I therefore need to maybe emphasize crit a little bit more to make sure that I deal more damage that I'm not getting anymore. So you kind of see how that works. That's that. And Polished Bug Static Trap now emits heartbeat sound effects. So that is very important. We might as well finish off as there's just some small little changes here before we go into the math for Murdock. Serath Bug fixed audio for her Bless Me emote. Colossal Blow now once again correctly knocks enemies back instead of simply interrupting them. Oh, that's a pretty big deal. Fixed an issue where steel can maintain its velocity and fly off edges. Oh, that could have been... Oh, that could have saved me a couple times in a few games. I think they actually need to do the same thing with Sevarog. Sevarog can actually do the same thing. He can rush off a ledge and just go boof, and he just like fly across the map. I think they do need to do the same thing with Sevarog for his rush as well. Some UI changes. UI should now correctly update between the controller layouts. Now shows L1 R1 instead of L1 L1. There's some little things here, mostly for the PS4. So guys, let's go into this Murdock math. So here we go, guys. Here's the math. So we went in and changed Murdock's attack speed per level to 1.2 instead of 2.8, meaning that as he levels up, he doesn't gain as much attack speed as before. So from my other videos, I think I was at 50 CP for a comparison, and I do remember on my old videos that I was a 19, 11, 19, 19, 10, 19, something like that, but now it's 13. Now it's 13, and it looks like it took a little bit away from crit just because he does scale from his basic attack well on power and penetration, and his basic attack does deal a nice amount of damage, so that does work very nicely. But if you are going kind of a hyper carry, oh, before we do that, take a look at his maximum DPS. That's severely lower. That is severely lower. That was something like 660, if I do believe, if I remember correctly. But let's just compare him to the others. I think he is in third place now. Sparrow, the hyper carry, 674, followed by Grim, to be honest with you. Watch, 674, followed by Grim. Here at 654, and then we go to Windblast. He's last, I do believe, 575, but remember he does have a very elusive kit with a lot of other things in there. And then we have Murdock here at 590. There you go. So as you can see, he's in third place DPS wise, but with this Grim kind of buff, I mean, Grim's kit is starting to look a lot nicer. And you know what? With all this crowd control that's out there from Aurora now, I think teams can compensate for Grim's lack of mobility. Even if a Grim maybe takes a Blink Charm, why wouldn't you? He can mitigate damage, he can slow people, he has a lock-on ultimate to finish people off. Like, I think there's no excuse not to take Grim anymore, simply because Murdock's ultimate has been nerfed. You know, so... but anyways, let's take a look at if we're going really all out. 55 CP, you know, for maybe 10 lifesteal, you know, one ward or blink charm to bring up 60 and just a few points in lifesteal, something like that. So you're only maybe 10 CP into, or maybe 10% lifesteal, a little bit more if you can squeeze that out from the upgrade bonuses. Who knows, something like that. You're really going into the damage, 680. But look at this attack speed. That's probably the biggest thing we should emphasize here. It's not 10. It's not 8, 9, 10 attack speed anymore. It's 50% more. It's 15 instead. So attack speed is real. You can't go crazy power Murdock anymore because, I mean, his ultimate doesn't scale that well anymore. 0.75, like it's not bad, but take a look. Attack speed, baby, and the crit. He's always really liked crit, but he's much more even now. He is much more even. He is much more like a Twin Blast, actually. 21, 15, 19. Let's take a look. 27. Okay, he's a little bit more even between all the three stats. Even though he actually has a really good burst. And then, let's see. Well, Grim and Sparrow are just completely different. So, there you guys go. He's kind of more like a Twin Blast now. He's kind of more like a Twin Blast. Let's see. Let's see a Sparrow. Is he kind of like a Twin? Ooh, Nope. Nope. Sparrow does not like, well, not like the attack speed. Oh boy, look at that. 770 damage. Oh my god. DPS. That's damage per second. Ah. And Grim, let's see if he's like a Grim. No. No, he's not. No, he's not. Yeah, so he's in kind of a class of his own. He's kind of in a class of his own. He is 434. That's looking like his ratio. 4 power to 3 attack speed to 4 crit chance. Just a little bit with a little bit more pen than a little bit more power penetration than crit chance. So guys, there you go. Big changes here in the Ranger meta. Looks like from the DPS perspective, he's 3rd place now. Sparrow, Grim, Murdock, then Twin Blast. But I mean, kit-wise, Grim's looking much better, much better. Especially with this nerf from on Murdock. Twin Blast has just always been good, and Sparrow is just the true hyper carry, along with Grim. Everybody's been calling Sparrow the ultimate hyper carry, but take a look at Grim. 777 for Sparrow. 750. He's a hyper carry as well. Grim is the hyper carry with an amazing kit as well. So like, guys, personally, I feel like Grim would be my personal favorite. And he is as a Ranger, he is my favorite. So anyways, we have talked about way too long. There is the math for Murdock. The updated spreadsheet that is on my Google Drive account for everybody to have for free is out there. It is updated, and this the Google Sheets where you don't need Excel, you can just use it. You have to copy it into your Google account first, and then you can manipulate everything, and it's much simpler. That is also updated, so go down, links in the video description down there for you guys to use that and just optimize your builds. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think of this changes to Murdock. I think it actually really changes him much more. It's a little, it's a pretty big change. And people are going to resist it because naturally that's just, people resist change, right? Normalcy is good. That's what keeps us alive. But I think this really changes a lot. I think this really changes a lot. In today's CC, crowd control meta, Grim and Sparrow just looking so much better. You can just control the enemy, let your hyper carries, Grim and Sparrow, go to town with their amazing kits. Especially Grim. He can slow people down and just annihilate them. Like, with that deflector shield now, you can use that more often. I don't know, guys. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Please, like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, share it with the community, and of course, guys, subscribe. If you guys like this content, especially if you found it useful, please subscribe so I can do it for you in the future. Till next time, like always, stay optimistic and positive.